Hi everybody. So as I said in the chat, I didn't realize that my microphone wasn't turned on for the last two tutorials that I had tried recording. So this is a little frustrating, but I'm ready to go. Microphone is on. So here is the village that our cooperative shares. There are several buildings on here that we use that we use pretty much every single day, and we talk about them every day in the chat. So if you're new, this is a tutorial on how we use this village and why. So on this village, there are several buildings. I use mine fairly frequently, and this includes the horse meadow. First thing about the meadow is that you have to send a horse in here, which would be this here. The button would say send a horse, pick a horse you want to send here, go in here, and then you would train it with little toys and treats and things like that. You would start here, the meter would slowly go up, these things would rotate around, and eventually once you filled this whole thing up, and then whichever arrows it was pointing at, they would be available as breeding effects. This is something you would use so that you didn't need the horseshoes on this farm. So on this farm, the difference is that you would go into this area, train your horse with horseshoes, but if you didn't have horseshoes, then what do? You go to the village farm and go into the cooperative, the horse meadow. Next building, which is also important, is the bank. In order to get money to do most of the things on this farm and other farms that is related to this village, you need money. So you convert your regular dollars into farm dollars using the bank. Other buildings that we use, you may hear us say, hey guys, fish pond is empty, donate pellets. You would make your pellets inside 2 different mills on your farms, and then once you have a bunch, you would probably give the prompt, hey, you got too much pellet feed, so then you would go here, donate them, and then you could see that per hour, this is how many pellets would be consumed, the amount that we've put in, and then the benefits, the village happiness points. Another farm village thing that's on here would be the timber and textiles factory. This is the one that we use pretty frequently. I have something growing in here, so I'll actually just fast track that. In here are a whole bunch of things that you can build used towards all of the buildings on this farm. Shingles, ropes, all these little things. In order to make them, you would need to harvest certain things. In this case here for paint, you would need spruce wood, willow, you would need clay, sand, and olive oil. So you know where this is made. If you don't know where the rest is made, I'm here to show you. And then another building here is the minerals and metals, whoa, that was hard to say, factory, and in here, things that you can make. Some things are made for repairs, some things are made for the horse meadow. And then the different, things that you would need to make in order to make these products here. And lastly is the boat. You'll hear this and see this very frequently in the chat. This boat here, it comes back every 6 hours. It's basically broken every 6 hours. It requires us to put materials in to fix it, and then it goes back out. If it is fixed, it comes back. This box would be colored. You could click on it, and then you could get rewards based on how well you've repaired the boat. Boat repairs have 3 sections. These sections are the hull, the cabin, and the stowage. And each of these have require materials in varying numbers, going from least amount, moderate, let's say, medium amount, to the most materials needed to fix. In this example here is the hull. Before jumping in there, the amount that we repair these 3 compartments affects the supply box of how many things we would get back as a reward when the boat returns. And so if you fix this and this and this tends to be filled in, and then you'll see other things like plus something because we repaired the boat in a really great amount of time. So here's the hull. It requires these quantities of products to be donated by all of us to finish off the numbers, to fully repair it. Once they're all full, you would get this option down here. And you could contribute additional things, additional products. So you know where they make those, you know where to make those. These are made, this here is made on I think, the gourmet farm. And so you could donate one of these, and then it would affect like a friendship box, which is an additional reward panel or window. That is nice. It's quite nice to see that full. The cabin is next. Requires usually almost the same things as the hull, but in more amounts. We're generally able to finish the cabin and the hull in every 6 hours because people are helping out, and hopefully you'll be able to do that too. So as you can see down here, I had a bunch of these saltwater burgers, 19 of them. When I donated them, gets me this whole thing full. Stowage requires a lot of stuff. So if you're going to donate to the stowage, please make sure that this is done and this is done, and then go into here. And as you can see, it requires a lot of stuff, like 23,600 of wood. So I've already donated a few things to these. So the hull. If the hull requires these things, generally fill these things up first, and don't, and I would say hold on to whatever you need, and then donate to the spots that have materials that are different, let's say. As you see the hull filling up and it's done, and if you see the cabin is starting to get close to being full, then finish those off. Stowage is nice to finish. It does require a lot of materials and it requires a lot of us to be doing the same thing. So this doesn't always get full. So the next thing we're going to talk about is how do we get these edge crops? How do we get these materials? Each farm has the same 5 edge crops, and then 2 farms have specialty ones. Let's see, I'm going to do this one. I did this for the earlier tutorial that I didn't record my voice. So here we go. We are on the flower farm, and in order to plant an edge crop, it's the same as planting a regular crop. So here's jasmine, and it used regular farm dollars. To plant an edge crop, it's right here, edge plants. These 4 plus oak are available on all 3 farms. What's different is cotton seeds. So on the flower farm, cotton seeds can be planted. You'll get cotton, this much. You'll get the jasmine seeds that are the regular crop, and then you'll get some white sand. It requires this much farmed village dollars, not farm dollars. Now that it's sown, you can put hummus on. You can say, hi, could someone track my farm? Thank you for the charms. Then once it's done, you'll see that the field is ready. You'll get jasmine, you'll get cotton, and you'll get some of this byproduct, which is sand. Click on it. This is saying, hey, you've got so much already that you're full. Your choices are to sell it for money, sell it for farm dollar or village dollars, or you could go to your village farm and then you could see where it's needed. Now what you have is a penalty time. So that is just the consequence of planting edge crops. So you can see that I had planted some already here, and so my fields have penalty times and something affecting the field. So in this case, this one's a rocky field. In this case, because I got sand, my fields are dry and sandy. The penalty time is the exact same time as the crop that you planted. And then if you were to just plant, it would be 60% less of a regular harvest. Your choices are to plant that for the time, knowing that you're going to get less jasmine, let's say, but you'll definitely get some type of a byproduct, which is, in this case, sand. You could also use specialists. They always have 3 choices. They give you different times. So this one here is a 2-hour and 9-minute specialist. He'll give you 19 to 22 sand. This one here, Camilla, if you renew her contract, takes her half, like an hour, and you'll get 37 to 43. The other person is Camilla, uses different time, but she gets you way more. So depending on how much you need this field for other things, or if you want to just, maybe you need the material, maybe I need sand to make something in the village, I could use a specialist to get the most out of the time. So 6 hours or 7 hours, 1 hour, and then 2 hours. Or regular straight up jasmine, no specialist, up to 8 sand. So this guy here is about the same time. I'm going to use him. I don't know. Okay, so you get this little dude here. On the other farm, Gourmet, it is same 5 crops and rubber latex. Now what is this? Dandelion. So on a Gourmet field, pick whatever crop. I'm going to do dandelion just because of the time when I skip with gold. But just know this, when you plant an edge crop, it's always going to be the same amount of village dollars. Doesn't matter if it's lamb's lettuce, barley, or dandelion, but what will change is the amount. So if I did dandelion, I would get 140 of, let's say, spruce. So if, let's say I did spruce. If I did barley, this would be higher. If I did lamb's lettuce, this would be even more high, but the cost is the same. That's just one thing that I think one of our members has said. So my choices are those 5 or rubber latex, which is only on the Gourmet farm. So I would make that. So you can see the edge crops pop up. And I'll add some hummus. Skip it just so you can see. So you have dandelion, latex, and some type of byproduct, which is clay. So my field is now in a penalty situation, about 28 minutes. If the field is wet, same scenario, if I plant this, I'll get 60% less dandelion, about up to 4 clay, or I can use a specialist to get more clay, but they'll just take more time. I'm just going to go here. So as you can see, different fields have, fields can be planted with different types of crops. So I'll show you that example here. If I planted bamboo, penalty is clay, so I'll have wet fields. Same thing as willow. You'll get wet fields to get clay. Spruce will make your fields rocky, so you'll get rocks as well as spruce. Poplar is the only one that will give you, or of the regular ones, will give you sand. So you'll have dry fields after. Oak seeds, rocky fields, rubber trees, clay fields. So those are the fields that you'll have with the penalty time associated with whatever the time was of the original crop. Okay, so that's crops that you find on different farms, penalty crops, penalty times and the crops that you can get, and then mechanics and specialists. We talked about how to repair the hull, the cabin, stowage, donating the supplies, and then the rewards. I couldn't show you just because my boat's not returning, it's being sent out. I really hope that I covered everything. I'm just looking really quickly to see if there's anything. Those supplies, which would be like the additional supplies that you could add once we've repaired the different compartments on the boat, it could ask for like additional things. Those things can be made here in the Gourmet farm. The different products include, if you just keep clicking, hot milk, boxed fruitcake, cherry cookies, traveler's lunchbox. These are made in your mill on this farm, I'm sorry, the bakery on this farm, which is over here. The boxes are made in that timber and textiles factory. You know, cloth, boxes, thermos. These are those things like you saw in those buildings that were on the village farm. And so while we're waiting, I'll just make a couple of those cookies. You can't, oopsies. Bear with me. On the flower farm, the additional things, how much time? Okay, for the sake of the video. To make, what you can make in this one is, go past the regular stuff, sailor's fragrance. So I have everything because I've made the box, sorry, I've made the glass in a different building, I just don't have boxes. So that's where you'd find those. Other than that, if you find that there's something that I didn't answer, feel free to ask. But basically send a note out in the chat. I'm sure somebody will be able to help you. So hopefully that helps, and have a good night.